where the secret is spoken, the contemporary people. Ladies and gentlemen, now I want to give all of you who are sitting in front of the television a question. Have you ever thought that you were an unlucky person, lost your belief, or left disappointed about the life? So why don't you together with us to meet a very special person who used to suffer a lot of difficulties in life? And we will see whether your thinking about life is true or not. Today our character is Miss Huỳnh. Hello Miss. So today the Contemporary People Show has a very special story from Miss Huỳnh. That is, we know that your center usually receives the children to raise, don't you? What is the standard to be received, Miss? If Tiểu Hương meets the abandoned and unlucky children, Tiểu Hương will take and raise them. Is there any limit about age? Oh no, Miss. Most of children in the center are picked from the beach and public places. The HUYNH Charity Center was founded and directed in 2001 by Huỳnh. The purpose of the HUYNH Charity Center is to teach and raise the orphan and disabled children. There are a lot of children have been received and given the circumstance to study, especially the abandoned infant and disabled children, by Tiểu Hương since the center was founded. Currently, the number of children in the center is 307 children. And today, the Contemporary People Show will hold a meeting so Miss Tiểu Hương can choose the 308th child. The 308th child will become the member of HUYNH Charity Center. So we together with Miss Hương will talk with them. Hello, Hello, Miss. Can you hear me clearly? Oh, yes. How old are you? I'm 13 years old. Can you tell me where you're from? I'm from Đông Anh. Why don't you live with your mother? At that time, my mother's health was not good, and she had to raise two of us. She was too poor to raise me. Have you ever felt if your circumstance changes, you will feel luckier? I have thought about that for a long time. If I am richer, it will be better. I want to ask, have you ever dreamed about a fairy that gives you silver? So what will you wish? I wish that I would be strong enough to raise us. Okay, now please give the microphone to your next friend. Hello, Thảo. Oh, hello, Miss. How old are you? I'm 22 years old. How is your life? I was orphaned when being born and led the life of a wanderer for nearly 22 years. Through the wandering days, I always hoped that I can live peacefully and have parents. After that, I was adopted by a family, and finally I was harmed by my adoptive father, and I continued to live a wandering life. Actually, I cannot talk enough my situation in life. You want to say something, Miss Hương? Your name is Thảo, right? You talk enough. And Tiểu Hương want to adopt you. Do you want Thảo to talk more about her situation? No. Why? Because it will be more painful if she talks more. Why do you decide to receive Thảo at this time? Because Thảo and I have the same situation. Now we continue to talk with the boy. Mr. Hương wants to talk with you. Is it okay? Oh yes. How old are you, Thái? I'm 7. Do you have parents? Yes. Thai's story is very special. Thai has parents. His father was addicted and his mother went away. He has a grandfather who was more than 80 years old. The grandfather and the boy have to come to Thông Nhất Park to find something to eat, such as selling lottery tickets. His situation is very piteous. Do you usually meet the children like that? To Tiểu Hương is very usual. If meeting a child with this situation, Tiểu Hương can show that his word no matter how hard it can be, because I myself grow up as a wandering child. So once their situation is unlucky and they have to live in the street, if they are still not adopted, Tiểu Hương want to receive them through this show. We will continue to talk more with them to know more about the personality, the situation, and the dream of each child. Return to Tiểu Hương story. We want to ask you, do you recognize this place? Oh, this is the line. I used to live in it. I lived in many train stations to sell us tea and water. I lived in train line tens of years. Have you ever counted how many stations you used to go by? At that time I knew all, but now I forget. In the past, I could know from Ông Thượng Station to Saigon Station. Why does it begin with Ông Thượng Station? Because it is the first station that was abandoned. It is the first station I lived. When going to the train, Hương usually hide in the toilet and wait till the train begins run to go out. And when the train ran, I hide under the seats to avoid punishment. Do you remember any stories about the first time in your memory? Talk about memory, there is a lot of pain. So it is not easy to say because only me suffer the pain. And if I talk, the parents that raised me and the whole family and brothers and friends will be more painful. So Tiểu Hương cannot retell. Why do we see a voiced child with emotion and tear whenever talking about memory? Anything fun? Almost in 22 years, I don't know what fun is. The pain is more. I don't understand sadness and fun, but know clearly pain and scare. Did anyone give you something, a cake, a smile, for example? Yes, there is one female soldier, Miss I. She is the first person in life that helped me. She took me to the military unit to live. When the people in the train fight and send me away, she and her friend helped me. She asked me to hide under the seat to avoid the fight. She allowed me to come with her to the unit, but her friend did not. But at last, she determined to take me with her. After living a while, because the soldiers did not allow to stay, she determined to come to live with her family. And when living with her father in her family, Tiểu Hương was firstly done like that by father. So I was afraid that her father was like my father. Therefore, Tiểu Hương determined not to stay. Whenever talking about my father, I was scared and did not accept. So at last, I returned to train station. Talk about my real life, it is very bitter and painful, because if talking about happiness, Tiểu Hương never think that I will have it, and talking about gladness, I just dream about the peace in everyday life. But it is just a dream, so I have never thought that I can achieve it. Can you remember the first time you received a child? How was it? It is a boy or girl? Where was it? Once living in Miền Đông car station, I saw a little child of 2 or 3 years old. At that time, I do not think much. I just know that I must not let it die, and I don't know that if I pick it, I could get anything to eat. At that time, how old are you? About 10. Having lived like dust, about 10 years old, when meeting an abandoned child, how can you make a living? Every day, Tiểu Hương went everywhere to pick the banana peel that they waste and the excesses of noodles that the noodle sellers throw away, and chew and feed the child. I think doesn't mean that only when we have money, we are able to help the others, and we are not necessary to be rich to save the others. The important thing is whether we love the people besides us or not. And if we love that child and we feel that the child's life is valuable to us, no matter how hard the life is, we are still able to save the child's life. After that, you had to live a wandering life or street life, and as users say, how could you take the child with you, or you had to send it to someone? Oh, I usually take it with me anywhere. Although it was very difficult, I think the difficult were just about the food for the child. But the mystery I thought lucky was better than living alone, because there were two people, there was just one person before. One person just cried alone and felt sad alone, but at least having a baby that I could hug whenever I write, and I had a person to confide, although it did not understand me. It is my encouragement and also the motivation to save myself whenever I feel sad the most. Whenever I want to suicide, I had to think